Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Love of God podcast. This is the part 4 of the Prodigal Daughter. Okay, today we'll be talking about how I wanted to relocate to India and become a Buddhist because I didn't believe in God anymore. I was done. I was finito. So, the last part where we were was that I was in a refuge and I had just finished recovering from a second termination, and I was completely obsessed with watching spiritual videos. And I felt like, I was searching for something, but I didn't know what it was at the time. Like, looking back, I feel like I wanted peace. Like, I just wanted peace. I feel like so much has happened to me in my life that I was like, I'm tired. Like, I just want to rest. Can somebody just let me rest? So that's where my head was at. I like looking back. But at the time, I didn't know what I was searching for. I just knew I was done with God and I was looking for something else to fill that hole. And I remember thinking, like, I need to fill this hole. I need to fill this void. I need to fill this void. But really and truly, it was God that I needed the whole time. It was God I needed the whole time. I just wanted to feel like how I felt when I was 15 years old, just loving God and not like just being so pure, So I was completely obsessed with spiritual videos, and because I grew up around, I grew up moving around a lot. So I remember my mom always used to say, like, if you don't like where you are, go somewhere else. I think I took that very literal, because every time I don't like where I'm meant to be, I just go, I leave, I walk away, or I completely travel. I love traveling. Me and my mom used to travel a lot. So it just made sense for me to start working towards leaving the country and just traveling. Although I didn't have £1 to my name, but I kept thinking to myself, as soon as I get back into work and I start, because one thing about me and two things for certain, I'm gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna find something to do. This is where I started thinking to myself, okay, I need something to do. I'm looking for something to do. So somehow I met my son's dad. If you don't know me, I already have a son. Yes, one actually made it. One actually made it through. But there I met my son. This was around the time I met my son's father. And although he wasn't the strongest Christian in the world, but he knew God. Like, one thing I really appreciate about my son's dad is that I feel like he opened a window for me to get through. Like, I climbed through. Like, when I met him, obviously I liked him. We got together. It was such a beautiful beginning. Like, the relationship was 10 marks, okay? But the one thing that made me so ready to go back to God was the way he spoke about God. Like, he's one of those people, you don't have to be the strongest Christian to know who God is. He knows God. He loves God, and they have their own relationship. Not my business. You can't expect people to love God the way you do. You have your own entire relationship. But I was at a point where I didn't like God. I wasn't trying to be around God. But the way he spoke about God just made me think, wow, I don't remember knowing him like that, because I went through so much, and it just reminded me so much of how my relationship was before when I was 15 with God anyway. So I felt like he opened that window for me, and I climbed through. Around that time, we were working on opening a shop together. We was very quick with it. We got together, started working together. We were almost like business partner, relationship partner situation, right? And that year, I think a year into our relationship, this is after COVID, because COVID was tough. Like, COVID was tough, but it made us get closer. We spent COVID together as well. So that was another great thing, should I say, because everybody knows COVID relationships never always last. Shout out to all the COVID relationships that didn't make it, because a lot of us were just looking for something to cling to, someone to cling to. So after a year of us being together, the shop was open, although we struggled a lot because they kept shutting down due to COVID, back up again, closed down, and hospitality got the worst out of COVID as well. So it was tough. And so 1 year into us being in this relationship, I fell pregnant again. Dun 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 dun. I'm a very fertile babe. Even someone said that to me the other day. Someone was like, "You seem like you're very fertile." I was like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm celibate. I'm not doing it no more. I ain't doing it no more." The only way I can avoid getting pregnant is to not have sex, period. Because one, hormones don't work for me. I've been on the pill. I've done the whole injection thing. The injection thing left me bleeding for months. I was bleeding for months, and it was not cute. So I have very high hormones, so maybe that's probably why I can just fall pregnant like anything. But I found out I was pregnant again. But this time was different. Okay, I'm in a proper relationship. You know, I was with someone that genuinely loved me, and he was like, "Listen, I'm gonna be there. You know, whatever you want to do, whatever choice you want to make, I'm down." Like, whatever the case may be. It was not easy for him. Don't get it twisted. Like, it wasn't easy because it's a shock. We weren't expecting it. But at the same time, it's funny because I actually got pregnant on my birthday, which was great. Lovely. So I got pregnant on my birthday, conceived, because when I checked my conception date, it fell between my birthday, and I knew exactly what happened there. But that's a story for another day. So he was supportive. He was actually the only person in my life that stood by me. He was like, "If I'm not telling you to get an abortion, nobody can tell you to get an abortion." And he told that to me straight to my face. And I said, "You know what? God do what God do." And also, the main reason I wasn't going to do any more terminations was I had discernment. I was with God now. And I felt like, yeah, he ain't going to forgive me. Nope. 3 times? No. I know some people have done it more times. Don't get me wrong. I'm not judging anybody. But for me personally, if I removed that pregnancy, I knew I wasn't going to make it. Bear this in mind. I knew I was not going to make it. And I'm saying that with my chest because I would have run mad. There was 3 options for me: run mad, suicidal, or depressed and hurt, and just there would have been no return for me. I just knew, and I just felt like I just managed to find God again. I just managed to get my life together. Bear in mind, while I was in the refuge, I actually didn't stay in the refuge for long. I was actually the only person that was given a flat from the refuge, because normally when you stay in the refuge, they help you get back up on your feet. They find you a flat. They put you, either they give you a council flat or they rent out an apartment for you and find you back on your feet and stuff like that. But there was someone, basically the charity gets given a flat by a housing association every year. So housing association have to give back to the community. So that is their way of doing so. So they will give a flat to one of the people that are in the housing system, the refuge system, and to help them get back on their feet and support them and everything like that. So I was luckily one of those people, actually the only people. That one flat that was available was given to me. So bear that in mind. And this is like 3 months from being in the refuge. A lot of people have been there before me. People were there for a year. And bear in mind, I met my son's dad literally a month, 2 months after I came out of the refuge. You know me, like, relationship babe, I can't be by myself. It was so bad. I have no shame, guys. I have no shame. But I met him I knew him before, bear in mind. Please just put that in mind. I knew him a year before. Like, I've known him for a while. We used to go out together as friends. We were just friends in the beginning. But after the whole pregnancy situation, I was even able to talk to him about him, tell him what I went through and this. And he was very empathetic and he still wanted to be around me. And we laughed a lot together. We had so much fun together. So that was something that, like I said, he opened that little window for me to climb through because I needed that window. I was running away from something. And if you know my partner's name, you will know why I felt like God used him to get me out of where I was. So 3 months into being in the refuge, I was offered the flat, and it was like a dream. Like, guys, I don't think you understand. I remember when the guy took me to go and view the place, because normally when you get offered a flat, you don't just get to view different flats. You get offered that one flat, and that same day you go to view it, you have to sign it. If you don't sign it that day, you've lost your chance. So if you one of those people that want to be picky, or there's too many stairs, or there's, my dear, it's going to be very hard for you to get back into that housing system. And as much as I don't recommend people to get into the council/housing system, I truly believe that if you've worked very hard, in my case it was 10 years of me working, paying my taxes, very much so, it's okay to get help, it's okay to get support. That's where your tax money is going. And it's truly okay, because I was struggling for a long time. I was really struggling. The working was taking a toll on me. I needed a break. I needed to be a normal young girl, and not worry about what am I going to eat, what am I going to sleep, where am I going to do this. It was too much. The responsibilities were just too much for me. So I digress. Obviously, my family were not happy about being pregnant out of wedlock, but I knew I wasn't ready for marriage. Truly. I was not ready for marriage. I couldn't even cook. My son's dad, I tell him this every time, he taught me how to cook. He was the person that taught me how to cook. I used to sit next to him all the time watching him cook. And also he was a very picky eater, so he wasn't going to eat my food. He made me realize that whatever I was cooking, I was just cooking to survive. I wasn't cooking to enjoy the food. I was just cooking to fill up my stomach. And I couldn't cook. Cleaning was not my strong point. Looking after myself was very hard. Unless I'm going somewhere, I wasn't that girl, it really made me realize I really was not prepared to be married. But I was sure about having this baby. Every bone in my body, I fought. Everyone was like, "Oh, are you sure? Kids are a very big responsibility." Yes, they are. Even sometimes I look at my son, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. And my son was active. My son is activity. He puts the act in active. But it brings me so much joy, guys. Even sometimes I think to myself, God, if not for this boy, where would I be? And I know people say, oh, don't have kids because you need to, but have kids because you want to. Truly, there is nothing wrong with having a child because you feel like you need to have one. Maybe you feel like it's your time and you're ready for it, blase. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let society shame you. Really and truly, don't let society shame you. If you feel like your child saved your life, I know a lot of women that were dealing hard drugs, like serious hard drugs, and when they had their child or when they got pregnant, that was the only thing that helped them quit, because their love for their child overcame their love for drugs or addiction. So don't let anyone tell you like your child can't save your life. He really did. He really saved mine. So yeah, I knew deep down I wasn't ready for marriage, truly. And my relationship with God was getting stronger and stronger at the time. I quit smoking, of course. I focused on work. I still got a job when I was pregnant. Like I said, if there's one thing and two things for certain, I will get a job and I will work. And it was really good because I was able to get housing support and still be able to afford looking after Tristan. Everything was legit and I was entitled to it. I'm going to take it. That's just what it was. And it was difficult to balance work life with home life, because I've always expressed that like my relationship was affecting our work life, because obviously, like I said, me and my partner at the time, we had a salon together, and I always said that this is going to destroy our relationship. So I decided to get a different job working outside of the salon. So I did that. If I was to rate my pregnancy out of 10, I would say a nice, strong, hefty 7. It was a good 7. The reason why I say 7 is because my partner, he cooked and cooked. He took care of me. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that now for $3.99. Like I was 100-pound post baby. I was so big. This is so, no, I said not 100 pounds, 100 kg. 100 pounds would be mad. 100 kg. And this was crazy to me because I was a good 60 kg before I got pregnant. So I put on so much weight. My thighs were heavy. I was ripping a muscle every day when I went to work. And also my son was very heavy as well, so that did not help. And I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of back pain. Even till today, I still get back pains because that boy was sitting on my pelvic. I don't know what it was. My pelvic bone was always hurting. Whenever I sit down for too long, it takes me a long time to actually get up. So so let's move right on to childbirth, right? So because I quit smoking, my dreams came back. And they were not playing with me. The kind of dreams I was having, it was too much. It was way too much. Like, that was definitely the hardest part for my pregnancy. Like the dreams, the nightmares, the fear of uncertainty. I was very scared. I was very, very scared because God was showing things to me that was going to happen and I didn't know how to handle it. Like, I genuinely didn't know how to handle that time. So, move on to like labor, right? Bear in mind, I had a dream that me and my son were going to be in the NICU. Or not even me, my son was in the NICU. I had a dream and I saw him. Well, they told me to, after giving birth to him, they told me to come get him. And I remember I was walking up this long aisle to go find him. I went to the place where they normally keep the kids. He wasn't there. And then I went to different parts and I was searching for this boy everywhere and I couldn't find him. And eventually I found him, but he was at the place where like they put kids that were thrown away. I don't know how to say, like kids that were really, really sick. And I remember I woke up crying. I was crying my eyes out, thinking, God, what's gonna happen to my baby? But I just knelt down and I started praying and I prayed and I prayed and I said, God, please, this can't be my life. No. My son is gonna be healthy. My son is gonna be happy. He's gonna be okay. Yada yada yada. And I ended up in the hospital. I had a due date, but my son did not come on the due dates. He was actually 2 weeks late. So we had to induce me and I was dilating for like 44 hours roughly. And until I went into the labor, and my labor, was so hard, guys. Like, labor was so painful, the most painful thing I've ever experienced, to a point where I had to beg them. I was on my knees for epidural. I was like, give me the epidural. I needed it. I didn't care. And make nobody come and shame me for getting epidural, because some people cannot bear it. I've taken pain in my life, but childbirth, oh my mother, it was really, really tough. It was really, really tough. So I got the epidural, and even then my son wasn't coming out, and so they had to do a forceps delivery, which was very scary, but at the same time I was strangely relaxed. I was so calm throughout this childbirth thing, although I was in pain. And when they gave me the epidural, everything was fine again. Like, I didn't feel nothing no more. Like, truly, I couldn't feel anything. Like, I've never been in that situation before where I couldn't feel nothing, couldn't even feel my legs. So I had to be taken into the operation room, and they had to do a cut to get the forceps in there and pull him out. And when they pulled him out, he wasn't breathing. He wasn't breathing. He didn't cry. They brought him out. They showed him to me. Didn't even let me touch him, guys. I didn't get to touch my baby. They just yanked him away and put him on the bed, trying to get him to breathe. He still wasn't breathing. I was so calm, but at the same time, I was like, guys, what's going on? Like, is he okay? They're like, oh, it's fine. Only for the doctor to run into the room and say, what's going on? What happened? I was like, first of all, you need to calm down, because if you're stressed, I'm going to get stressed. So you need to calm down. This is very unprofessional, I'll tell you that much. So she took my son into the NICU. And that was the moment it clicked in my head. I was like, I've seen this before. But then I was still chilled. I remember maybe it was the drugs. Like, I don't know why I was so calm. I didn't panic, but I also feel like God was there with me. I felt like he gave me some strength that I've never had in my life before. Even his dad was panicking. Like, his dad was like, should I go with him? What do I do? Should I stay with you? I said, guy, just go take a picture of my baby and come back and see what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. I'm chilling with like 10 doctors here. I'm going to be straight, trust me. And there was even one good looking doctor there that was meant to be sewing me back up. And I was like, hello, hi, chit chat moment. I was very much relaxed. For some reason, I wasn't scared. It was afterwards I started being scared. Like, after, he started breathing, they put him in the machine. Although he wasn't breathing by himself straight away, he had some stuff up his nose. But they said he was breathing to a certain extent, but they were just helping him. And I said, okay, cool. And I started remembering the long aisle that I had to walk down to go see him for feeding time. Even though I wasn't lactating, I couldn't get any milk out because I hadn't touched him. I couldn't touch him. My first night was by myself. I did not spend my first night with my baby. I didn't see my baby until the next day. And guys, it was so traumatic because all the moms were there with their babies. The women that I went into labor with, whatnot, they all had their babies, and babies were crying all night. And I was like, what's the meaning of all this? I was the only one without a baby, So the nurses were nice enough to move me out of that room because they knew it was making me feel a bit depressed. So they gave me my own little suite, which was really nice. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like even when they moved me, I knew that it was good because I never complained. I did not complain to anybody. I was just there. I didn't say, oh, the babies are making noise and this. I was just minding my business. It was some nurse that came up to me and was like, Dorinda, we're gonna move you to this room so you can have some privacy to yourself. I know you're having a hard time. I was just like, I ain't tell you that. Me that I was out here just buying McDonald's to feed my appetite, like feed my sadness. I was really just binge eating, just to feel better about myself. But really and truly, I didn't complain to anyone, and they decided to move me. So it took us 4 days to get him out of the NICU and to join me in my bedroom, or my hospital room. I said bedroom. And I remember the first day he came back, I was crying. I was so happy. I've never felt joy like that in my life. Happy joys. Like, I just kept thanking God. I said, God, thank you. God, thank you. He was out. There was no breathing machine or breathing anything in his mouth. He still had some bandage on his arm or something like that. But he was fine. He was healthy. My son's dad always used to say, like, he's ugly. Like, why did he look like that? But truly, yeah, when you just had a baby, like, you think your baby is the most beautiful thing in the world. But at the time, little babies don't look nice when they come out. I'm not going to say and lie to you. But to be fair, when I was walking up to the NICU, I saw this girl pushing her newborn and the baby looked, like, I'm not even exaggerating, the baby looked perfect. Like, truly, the little girl was so cute. But obviously... I'm not saying my son's ugly. My son is actually a very beautiful boy. Like, if you know my baby, you know my baby handsome. My baby is a pretty boy. Like, no joke. That newborn stage really scared me though. I was like, if you're ugly, that means I'm ugly. Why didn't nobody tell me? I'm joking, guys. I'm just joking. So first day home back was very tough. I cried for like a whole week. Truly, I cried for a whole week. I started getting depressed again. I wouldn't say I was suicidal, but I was very scared. I wanted to run away. I wanted to tear leg. I wanted to run away. And I think that was one of the moments I was very grateful for my older brother, because he's a nurse and he's one of those people that he's seen a lot of things. He's seen how people can really get emotionally unstable after giving birth, and he reassured me, he prayed with me, and he was definitely a strong point, because I remember I was scared one time that my son was not feeling well. And you know them, like, if you're a new mom, like, any little thing you think the boy something's about to happen to him. So you rush to the hospital, you drag him, and this guy left whatever he was doing in Boringwood. He drove all the way down, took like for an hour or an hour and a half at least, and just to come and sit in the hospital room with me for ages, only for them to tell me nothing was wrong. Because his dad had to go back to work. Money I have to make, you understand? So there was no one there with me. So he went with me that day. But actually, the day that my brother came with me was the day my stitches came open. Because I was carrying him. My son was very heavy. I was doing too much by myself. I didn't have my mom. I didn't have anyone to proper help me. And by the time his dad came home from work, he was shattered, you know what I mean? So a lot of the time, I was doing most of the night feeds, the night wakes and everything, because he did night shifts as well. He was working. So it was not easy. Like, my stitches came open, so I had to go back to the hospital. And my brother came with me that day. So it was very nice to have him there, and I still appreciate him for that till this day. So I think we're going to stop here. This is where we're going to stop today, and we will resume tomorrow. Again, it's 4:00 because I like to record at nighttime. Baby's in bed, my mind is quiet. I'm not too overstimulated, because these children be active. Kids are active. So we're going to end this here today. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast today. Next time we're going to be talking about how my son kind of helped me with my faith and just reminded me even more of what God has planned for me. And it's going to be a beautiful journey. I'm very much excited for this next part. It's not as deep and as bad as all the ones I've just offloaded on you. So I hope this is something that has touched your heart, and this is something that has made you realize you're not alone in this world. God is always with you. There's always someone going through something. And stay blessed, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.